John, Stewart, it's great to see you fellas. How are you doing this week?
We're doing great. I think we're doing great, yeah.
Yeah, a lot better than the economy, though. And unfortunately, that's what we've got to talk about. We're going to talk about getting recession ready for retirees. Stewart, are we having to take emergency measures right now, or just going step by step through the process?
You know, step by step is important. You know, we're getting a lot of questions about, you know, is my portfolio doing okay, or can you take a look at this? And people say, are we headed for that recession, and am I recession ready? And so people like to say, like, are we in a recession or not? And, you know, I think we are, but how do you know? You know, how do our clients know, or people that are watching the show know if they're in a recession? Well, take a look at your portfolio. You know, if you lost over $100,000, you know, I don't care what we're calling, you know, the economy right now. Your portfolio is in a recession. And so you really, our analysis, our tools will help them identify basically where do we go from here. So it's going to be a good show. I'm excited. We're going to touch on a lot of topics that help a lot of people out tonight. So
Good. John, we're going to turn you into the professor. Look, we keep hearing this word all over the place. First, can we just start with the definition of recession, or at least what folks in D.C. are trying to call it, or rename it?
I was going to say, a lot of folks on the news are, you know, are saying, well, are we technically in a recession, or are we not? And that seems to be a big argument right now. You know, the rule of thumb is really 2 quarters of negative GDP. Well, and I would agree with Stewart. If we're looking at our portfolio, it feels like we're already in a recession. We've already had 2 quarters of negative GDP. I think we're technically in a recession right now. Okay, but more importantly, what we're going to continue to focus on today's program is talking about solutions for today's retiree. It's a scary R word. It's not something that we want to keep hearing over and over again on the news. But with Stewart and John here, we're going to provide solutions. What can we actually do for you? That's what Retire with Clarity is all about. And more importantly, open air advisors. And that's something I want to point out the difference. You both aren't just broadcasters here. You're financial advisors helping people with retirement planning strategies. There's different kinds of financial advisors. Stewart, I wanted to ask you, during our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, or 50s, we're accumulating assets, though. There's a different kind of advisor you want to work with, though, as you're getting towards retirement, correct? For sure. You definitely want to be taking a holistic, comprehensive approach. And what do those words mean? Well, essentially, it's to take a look at the whole picture. And so I was actually met a gentleman, his wife, you know, years ago, came to one of our client events. And he, you know, he thought he had a really good advisor, and who was basically, you know, over the last 14 years, gangbuster returns, portfolios were growing. You know, monkeys were doing really good back then. However, that's not the case anymore. And so, but the interesting thing that he said to me was, well, my advisor the last 2 years saying, we're doing this, we're doing that to the portfolio. So we think your portfolio is recession ready. But he came to me, again, maybe for the dozenth time, said, Stewart, can you give a second opinion? Can you, like, give me a checkup? Because I'm pretty concerned, because I don't think I'm recession ready, because the market's down over 20% now, maybe 25%, and his portfolio is down near the same thing. So he's like, I'm confused. And so that's really what we're here to help out. We were able to show him exactly why, you know, what he was hearing from his advisor. Oh, we got you protected here and here. We were able to pinpoint on his actual statement of why that's not the case and how those things are actually working against him. Because now, retirement's 2 years from now, he goes, do I need to start working longer? And so that was really eye-opening, because he goes, Stewart, I just trusted him. He was saying I was, you know, was good, until I basically started seeing these returns, thinking, where's the protection that I'm hearing about?
I want to ask you a little bit more about that, though. I'm trying to figure out this relationship itself. You said he came to one of your events, one of your live events, wasn't a client of yours, though. But you've been talking to him and helping him for years. Why would you give out that kind of free advice to somebody who's not even a client of yours?
It's kind of funny, though, because I feel like we kind of talk about all the time of the people that we've helped. And it's almost like we take pride in the longer the relationship before they become clients, because it's always like, you know, it's rewarding, because they're coming back to us occasionally for checkups. And when they say, hey, I'm getting advice from you that's completely different, and you can kind of see them, eventually, you know, we all have that moment, whether it's algebra in the 6th grade, you're like, well, why does, you know, negative times a negative equal positive? We don't know until one day we do. And that's what we're really good at is one day that light bulb does come out. And that's because of the approach that we take. John, Chris, myself do a really good job at diving down to that whole picture, say, all right, why does a negative times a negative equal a positive.
Well, and just to your point, and with the individual that you're talking about, he was in an accumulation, he was working with an accumulation type advisor. And so many folks go into retirement or are getting close to retirement, and they're using the same tools going into that retirement conversation or going into retirement than what they did for accumulation. And those two advisors, those two people are two totally different things. You know, if you go talk to an accumulation advisor, do they know how to do the math on Social Security? Do they know how to take get every dollar out of Social Security? Are they looking at your Medicare? Are they looking at your risk? This individual that Stewart's talking about, we see it day in and day out. You feel like he was telling you about all the protection he was putting in the portfolio, but when it came down to it, and when we actually had the situation like we're having, this year, where was that protection? Did he have the right tools to help protect the portfolio? Because at the end of the day, if you're living off of your portfolio, you've got to have a place for that income to come from.
And I've been in that other advisor's shoes. I mean, I worked for one of the big box, firms in here.
We all did, and we all did.
We understand the pressure that they need to get, X amount of clients. And so what happens is I learned a lot, I got a lot of repetition, but what happened was I learned a lot of skills, but I wasn't able to spend a lot of time with these people. So, asset gathering is somewhat an easy part of a job, but once you start bridging and going over that gap and really doing comprehensive planning, you can't have, 500 clients. You can't have 250 clients because it does take a lot of time doing what we do. And that's why I think our relationships, kind of snowball and we add value, week by week, month by month.
I'm always interested when you say that because at the accumulation kind of firms, they're also accumulating clients as much as they can. But the both of you, and Chris as well, when he's on the television program, you're a little bit more discerning about the kind. Would you like to maybe define a little bit of the kind of client who would be best to call the phone number that you see on the screen here?
Absolutely. So if you're sitting here watching the show and you have questions about what is the market doing, has your advisor called you in the last 2-3 months to say, hey, hey, Bob, how are you doing? This is how your portfolio is doing. If he's not doing that, that's what we're actively doing right now is making sure our clients feel comfortable, that they understand how their portfolio is set up. So if you have questions or if you just want that checkup, please call us. This is a great opportunity. It's 844-333-6059. There's a cool little QR code on our screen. Makes it easy for you. So, walk up to the picture, take a picture, and find our landing page. So thanks for watching. We've got some really great things to come. 844-333-6059.
We're going to continue talking about how exactly we get recession ready right now. I think by definition, we've figured out we're in one. The next thing is nobody knows how long it's going to last, right? So we need to make sure that we're prepared for it, that our money's going to last with the ups and downs. So we'll continue talking about that throughout today's program. Folks, make sure that you call the phone number right here so you can get your own Clear Path retirement guide, 844-333-6059. And as Stewart, all of us have just discovered recently the great QR code that's on the bottom of our screen. Open your phone. Go to the pictures on there, and when you put your camera on there, and when you point your camera on there, it'll take you right over to the landing page. You can see past episodes of the show, and you can go right to scheduling your own appointment. So either use the QR code, call the phone number, more Retire with Clarity when we get back right after this.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the